What if you received a signal from a place that no longer exists? Not from another country, not from deep space, but from another time. Imagine turning on your radio late at night and hearing a voice that shouldn't be there. A voice speaking from the past, calling for help, describing events that already happened, or maybe events that haven't happened yet. For decades, there have been reports of strange signals, voices, broadcasts, numbers, messages that seem to break the rules of time itself. Some believe they are just interference. Others believe they are something far more disturbing. Because if a signal can travel through time, then someone, somewhere, might be trying to reach us. It began with something ordinary. A radio. Late at night. A frequency with nothing but static. At least, that's what it was supposed to be. One night, a radio operator scanning through empty channels noticed something unusual. A faint signal buried under layers of static. At first, it sounded like noise. Broken, distorted, almost impossible to understand. But as the signal grew stronger, something became clear. It wasn't random. It was structured. Like a voice trying to break through. The operator adjusted the frequency. The static shifted. And then, words emerged. Not clearly. Not perfectly. But enough to understand fragments. Coordinates. Numbers. Repeating phrases. It sounded like a transmission. But the strange part wasn't what the message said. It was where it came from. The frequency didn't match any known broadcast. It wasn't military. It wasn't commercial. It wasn't from any active station. It was unregistered. As if the signal didn't belong to the present. At first, it was dismissed as interference. Radio signals bouncing through the atmosphere. Fragments of older broadcasts looping back. But then it happened again. And again. Different operators. Different locations. All reporting similar experiences. Faint signals appearing out of nowhere. Voices that sounded distant. Old. Out of place. And sometimes urgent. That's when the theory began to form. What if these signals weren't just interference? What if they were echoes? Messages lost in time. Trying to find a way back.
Many of the signals appeared during specific conditions. Late at night. During solar disturbances. Or when atmospheric conditions were unstable. Scientists explained that radio waves can behave unpredictably. They can bounce off the ionosphere, travel long distances, even circle the Earth. But that explanation didn't cover everything. Some signals carried information that didn't make sense. In one case, a recorded transmission described coordinates of a location. At the time, the location was empty. Nothing there. Just open land. But years later, a facility was built exactly at those coordinates. The same ones mentioned in the signal. In another case, a voice transmission described an emergency. A ship in distress. Coordinates were given. But no ship was ever found. No record. No distress call. Nothing. Until decades later, when old documents revealed a ship had gone missing in that exact area. at the exact time described. But the transmission had been recorded years before that incident. As if someone had heard the future. Or something from the past had arrived too early. Then there were the numbers. Sequences repeated over and over again. Long strings of digits. Some researchers tried to decode them. Most found nothing. But a few claimed the numbers matched historical dates. Events. Moments in time. Almost like timestamps. Markers of something that had already happened, or was about to happen. At this point, the idea of random interference no longer felt convincing. Too many coincidences. Too many details aligning in ways that shouldn't be possible. That's when a darker theory emerged. What if time itself isn't as stable as we think? What if signals don't always move forward? What if sometimes they slip?
The concept sounds impossible. But in physics, time is not as simple as we experience it. Under certain conditions, signals can bend, distort, delay. But traveling backward in time, that's where science becomes theory. And theory becomes speculation. Some researchers suggest that under rare atmospheric conditions, signals could be reflected in unusual ways, creating echoes that appear delayed, even years delayed. But that still doesn't explain signals that seem to arrive before they were ever sent. That's where the idea of time leakage comes in. The possibility that under extreme conditions, information might cross boundaries we don't fully understand. Not physically, not objects, but signals, fragments of communication, lost between moments. Imagine sending a message today, and someone receiving it 10 years ago. Or hearing a broadcast from the future, before it happens. It sounds like science fiction. But the stories continue. Operators will report strange signals, unidentified frequencies, voices that fade in and out of static. Some say they've heard conversations that don't belong to this time. Others claim they've recorded messages they could never explain. Most of these reports are dismissed, filed away as anomalies, or misunderstood phenomena. But not all of them. Because every once in a while, a signal appears with just enough detail to make people question everything. And maybe that's the most unsettling part. Not that signals can travel through time, but that if they can, then someone might already be trying to send us a message. A warning. A call for help. Or something else entirely. Something we haven't understood yet. A voice hidden in static. A message without a source. A signal that doesn't belong to the present. Whether these transmissions are just unexplained radio phenomena, or something far more mysterious, they leave us with one question. If a signal can travel through time, what would you send? If you're fascinated by mysterious signals, unexplained phenomena, and stories that challenge reality itself, make sure to subscribe, because there are many more stories waiting to be uncovered. And the next signal might already be on its way.